Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. Toby Hendrickson was looking into records and cases. He worked as a junior lawyer for a great law firm. A steady stream of clients came and went. He looked at Karen Strong, who had her desk tucked away in a corner. She was the most beautiful woman in his life, but he was too shy to ask her out on a date. He then turned to look at Marcia Dunlop. She had on a sweatshirt, sweatpants, and sneakers for walking. He thought about how she didn't look like she belonged in any office, let alone a law office. This man worked for Hillary Poston, Tricia Talbert, and Mary Smith. They were the three best lawyers in town. They were tough and usually won because they had someone testify against the other side. Hillary brought up how to dress for work at the 8 a.m. staff meeting the next day. She told everyone they should be dressed to show clients how good and efficient the company is. She said they should follow a dress code. I'm going to put together a group to decide what people should wear. I think it should be Toby, Tanya, and Tammy. They are always dressed so well. Is there something wrong with that list, or does someone else want to be on the committee? Since no one else was interested, she named it the 3T group and told them they could stay afterward to start putting together guidelines on how to dress. After the meeting, they began putting it together. She put Tammy in charge and had Tanya write down the thoughts. Toby didn't add much because he didn't know much about women's fashion, but when it came to shoes, he did say that he thought some kind of heel should be worn. The three chose shoes that were at least 2 inches high. Before they left, Tanya made 3 copies of their plan. They agreed to give it some thought and meet again tomorrow after the staff meeting. The next day, after the staff meeting, they discussed the list and agreed that it covered most things. The list said, 1. You must wear a nice dress. 2. Wear shoes that are at least 2 inches high. 3. You have to wear at least some makeup, but wearing it fully is better. 4. Your outfit should look as feminine as possible. 5. These dress rules must not be broken in any way. Then Tanya suggested that Rule 1 be changed to read, a pretty dress or a skirt and shirt. That was decided upon by the other two. Hi, can both of you handle the new dress code? Tammy asked. Both of them agreed. The next morning, they presented their suggestions to the staff. Everyone agreed except Maria, who said she would need to buy new clothes to follow the dress code. Since it was Thursday, they suggested starting the new dress code the next Monday. Before the meeting the next day, Karen told Toby she thought they did a great job with the dress code. He was thrilled when she told him that. They had talked very little before. He meant to ask her out, but was not ready to. After some time, Maria told him that the new dress code was going to cost her money. She said she would even things out with all 3 of them somehow. He was aware that he was the only man in an office full of women, but this was the first time he had seen firsthand one who made a threat at work. He was a little angry about it, but said it was just, you can't please everyone. Tricia said how nice it was at the staff meeting on Monday morning. Everybody looked good. Maria told him, you like how everyone looks, but you're missing the point about the person whose clothes don't follow the rules. Trish asked who wasn't following the dress code. Well, it's Toby. What do you mean? He has the right clothes for work. The dress code makes it clear that you need to wear a dress or skirt and shirt and use makeup to look as feminine as possible. I don't see where it says anywhere that he doesn't have to do it. If you're going to make an exception for him, you have to make an exception for anyone else who falls under it. That's true. He even cast his vote in favor of it. The dress rule was for the women in the office, not for me, said Toby. Hillary said, the dress code doesn't really exempt him, and all parties must follow the rules. Would you like to change the code? Let's vote now to see if we want to change it. The vote was 7-5 in favor of not changing the code. Maria said that everyone had to do it, and that includes Toby. She looked Toby straight in the eye and told him, I'm sorry, but you have to follow the dress code. He said he couldn't do it and didn't even know what sizes he would need to get new clothes. He was told to meet her right after the meeting in her office. He thought she would let him off the hook from having to follow the dress code. He gave Maria a bad look and saw her sitting there with a proud grin on her face. He went to Trisha's office after the meeting. He was told to sit down and relax. I agree with you that you should not have to do it, but you saw that the staff doesn't think the code should be changed to let you off the hook, and I don't see any way around it. Can you? I need this job a lot, and it's too important to lose. Then you'll follow the dress code, Trisha said. I'm really sorry, but you have to see it as an opportunity to learn. I believe you always wore the right clothes and looked very professional. I want to tell you that you could look ladylike enough by adding some lace to your clothes, but the code clearly says dresses, skirts, and shirts. I don't know anything about women's clothes. What should I do to get something I don't understand? I think that Tammy and Tanya are the two most stylish women. One of them will help you choose clothes. Which one do you want to help you? He thought about each of them. He remembered how Tammy always said something nice, and Tanya asked him about all kinds of things and always had the best conversations with him. He picked Tanya. Tony got Tanya to come into her office and asked if she could please help him choose clothes that meet the dress code. She agreed and smiled big at him. She was on the phone for 15 minutes while Tanya talked to him and told him she would help in any way she could. She told both of them something when she was done with the calls. We're ready. She told him she had set up an unlimited account for him at Van Creswell's store for the clothes and anything else he would need. At Walgreens, he needs to get other items as well. She also said that Trudy's beauty shop could help him look less masculine and more feminine when wearing a dress. She told them they could leave right away. On the way, Tanya told him that the more feminine he looked, the less likely he would be to get into trouble for being a man in a dress. She said the little things made a difference. At Van Creswell's, they bought 5 outfits: jewelry, a watch, a purse with a wallet, and shoes for him. She told him it distracted from anyone looking too closely at him. The problem was that he didn't begin to walk like a woman with a noticeable sway until he put on 4-inch heels. The two of them went to Walgreens, and he got a beautiful set of forms. Tanya said she could apply adhesive to them so he wouldn't have to worry about them moving. The worker there also told him about a product that would be useful. It was noon when they left, and Tanya told him she would treat him to lunch. They went to a family restaurant and sat in a booth at the back, out of the way. On the way out, he heard a man comment about the guy in a dress, which made him uncomfortable. At Trudy's, Trisha worked on him herself. She said he was one of her favorite clients and that no one else could do a better job. She was thorough with everything and taught him as she worked. She told him everything and gave him some tips on achieving the right look. She chose colors that complemented and highlighted his skin tone and facial features. When he left, his hair was curled to his shoulders, his makeup was flawless, and his nails, now pink, extended 1/4 of an inch past his fingertips. He felt transformed, and Tanya told him he looked fantastic. Tanya was impressed by how neat and tidy his place was. She assisted him in applying the forms correctly. Then she helped him correct a mistake. Together, they refined the process. She was surprised by how organized he was. Before she left, she gave him a kiss on the cheek and wished him luck for the next day. The following morning, he wore the light pink dress with lace trim and matching pink shoes. He saw himself in the bathroom mirror and felt he looked more like a woman than most. At work, every woman except Maria complimented his appearance. They were annoyed that he looked better than 3 of them. Yes, they were. He engaged in more conversation with them than he had ever done before. He even made a funny joke. He was shocked that even Karen told him he looked good, and he asked, "Who said that I had put on makeup?" He told her that Trudy had shown him how to use it. She had picked out what she called his colors and everything else. He informed her, "You don't need to see Trudy, but you should." There was no staff meeting today because all 3 of them were in court. "Good morning," he greeted as he sat down at his desk and worked. Maria saw him and said, "You don't look like a Toby. You look like a Tabitha." She couldn't believe it was him when she saw him. "Hi, Tabitha," he said to himself. She asked him to come to her office. He sat down next to her, and she was deep in thought. At last, she said, "I want you to know that I admire what you're doing. It shows that you really want the job and are a great asset to this group. As a gift, I'm going to give you 10% salary increase. Does that sound good?" "I have saved money, so I can pay. You can pay the bill faster if you want to," he replied. "There's no need for that. Now, if someone bothers you, please let me know. I'd like to know about it," she insisted. He told her what Maria had said. Trish, entering with a bad mood, then smiled. "Why don't you take the name Tabitha since you look so girly? That will show Maria that all she did was give you a new title." "I agree with you. I'll be Tabitha from now on. It's not something I want to do, but if I have to, I will. I will do what it takes to keep this job," he conceded. "It looks like you are stronger than most guys. We hired you because we thought you were smart, and now you've shown that you can handle anything," she praised. Trish told the workers that there would be a meeting at 2 p.m. At the meeting, she told the staff that it had only taken the jurors 15 minutes to decide that her client was not guilty. She credited their background checks and fact-checking for making them look great. "There is one more thing I need to say. As long as Toby has to dress up, he has chosen the name Tabitha for his new look. Let's all help Tabitha," she announced. They all cheered, and he turned red. The meeting was over, and when he got back to his desk, Karen stopped by and asked him to go with a few of the girls to Tony's bar for drinks. He agreed and thought about how little Karen had spoken to him before. At work, he was thrilled to find exactly what he had been looking for in a listing of past practices. By the time he left, he was glad to see that his guess had been correct. At Tony's, he drank a few sodas and mostly talked to Karen and Tammy. He admitted to them, "I never thought the dress code would include me, but I'm handling it very well. I have to keep my job or I'll lose my car. It's that simple. I can't give up my car because I love it so much." "I want you to know that I admire what you're doing," Karen said. "You look great in that outfit. It looks like it was made just for you." "Thanks a lot. I'm hungry." "Want to get something to eat?" he replied. Karen agreed, and the two of them chose to eat at Seven Angels Family Dining Place. They got there, took a seat, and looked at the menu. The roast chicken with dressing special was chosen. Karen asked him what he liked to do on the weekends. He told her he was into the NFL and NASCAR. He asked her what her favorite food was, and she said Italian. "If you're that pretty, I bet you have a lot of dates," he said. "To be honest, I haven't been on a date with anyone other than my friends in more than a year. That's crazy. There was a guy I was seeing. We went to school together for 3 years. His job was to lead the football team and pitch for baseball. After high school, we went together, and then he thought he owned me. He hit me one night, and I told him I didn't want to see him. He came and said sorry, and I took him back so it wouldn't happen again. We went to a party. It happened again, and I told him I was through with him. I left after he hit me again. That night, I cried as I walked 3 miles home. After that, I promised myself I would never cry over a guy again. I'm sorry you got hit. No one should ever hit someone else. Still, you did the right thing," he replied. They talked about many different things, and both were really having a good time. When it was time for dessert, they laughed when they asked for chocolate pie. As they were leaving in the parking lot, Karen said, "I'm not sure what it is, but something about you is different. You are doing a great job with how you wear your clothes and the way you see things." She kissed him on the cheek and walked to her car. He sat in his Corvette Stingray for almost 5 minutes. He couldn't believe he had impressed a woman as beautiful as Karen. Early the next morning, he left singing as he went to work. He was the first one there, and he carefully set down a small vase with a red rose in it on Karen's desk. He went to work and carried on with his study from the day before. When the other women got there, they saw the rose on Karen's desk right away. Karen said she had a pretty good idea of who left it but wasn't sure. Once everyone was ready to work, she went up to him and asked if it was really from him. It was a thank you note for the lovely evening of the previous night. He was too nice, she told him. His job was to help Trisha get ready for her case. He understood this should be easy for her to win. He didn't have any other cases to work on, so he went off to do some study by himself. Soon after, the machine kept putting out information. Trisha left for the court case and told him she wouldn't be back until at least mid-afternoon. She would be in her office. He sat there and looked at Karen work for a while. After that, he sat down and thought about her for a while. It shook him out of his thoughts when Paula asked him if he was going to join them for a break. During the break, Karen sat next to him. All the women told him his dusty rose dress made him look great. Maria even said it seemed like the soft colors were his. Maria came in after the break and asked if he had time to talk. He said he did. She sat down, and it took her more than 3 minutes to say something. My mom heard about how I stood up for myself because I don't like getting dressed up. When I told her how I made it happen, you had to wear a dress. She told me I was really mean. She told me I should feel bad about myself. I'm sorry I started the whole thing. I broke up with my boyfriend, and I guess I hate only guys now. I'm sorry you got caught up in my anger. I understand that you're sorry, and I don't hold a grudge against you. In a way, this is good for me. I do not like having to dress up, but no one outside of this room seems to think I am not a woman at all. I'm grateful for that. You could have done me the nicest thing anyone has ever done, so don't feel bad. Think about it. You're too good. I really don't want to have this talk with you. You've been so nice all day. Thanks for being that way. I understand. After she left, he smiled. She should know how important she was as he gets to know Karen. He didn't understand why he was so scared to go on a date with her. After 10 minutes, Trisha buzzed him. He saw her come in for him to go to her office. He took the 2 folders and made his way into her workplace. She was looking at the thing she had told him to look at. You are very good at this. It looks good to me. This will help me make my case have value. When I told my 2 friends I wanted you, they agreed right away to be my main researchers for the case. They have no idea how they missed the boat you were on. I see that you are now taking your break with the girls. Do any of them give you any trouble? No, they're all being really nice to me. Maria herself came, told me she was sorry she made me change what I was wearing. Yes, really. That's something new. Maria is a strong woman. She has a short fuse and doesn't take anything from anyone. Is there something I can do to help you out? Not now. I can't believe how good the girls are caring for me. Everyone is so nice to me, even Mariah. I'm glad things are going so well. You did see that I voted to stay in your clothes, right? I do know who voted what, and I appreciate that you did while I stay in men's clothes. I didn't think about it when we decided to make an exception for me when it came to the dress rules. I know that, and I'm really pleased with how you're handling it. We hope that something good will happen. May I tell you the truth? You must promise not to tell anyone else about what I'm about to say. I swear, I promise. Before, I thought about what it would be like to go on a date with Karen Strong, and we're going to see each other soon, get to know each other a little more. We could if things go the way I want them to. When I didn't know her, I was afraid to ask her out, but now I do. And she's a wonderful person. I'm happy for you and glad you turned it into something good, this whole thing. It's too early today, and Mary isn't in town, but I'd say I'll be able to talk to my partners by Monday, and let's see if we can make the dress rule less strict. The women of this organization should follow this rule. It's you, in ways that go above and beyond what I expect. He was at his desk again, and Karen looked at him and asked, "Why?" He had a big smile on his face. She went up to his desk and asked him what was so great. He told her on Monday she would find out because it was a surprise for them. Thanks for watching. Check out Patreon if you want to have early access to the other parts. If not, it will be online in a couple of days.